So that's one of the things that Tesla has actually mandated. So I've taken my leg off the pedal, and one thing he's doing is I've set my maximum speed to 70%, and it's literally following the vehicle. It's following the vehicle right in front of me. Yeah, so I've been able to find a charging slot, which is a very good one. Yes, so I'll charge the vehicle very quickly. So morning everyone. Very first time going on a long trip since I got this Tesla Model 3 about a month ago. Yes, so I just want to carry you along on the whole experience of driving an electric vehicle on a long trip. Just for context, I will be traveling from Coventry, where I live, to London, and then I'll be doing a couple of stops, about 2 stops in London. So follow me. Tesla is so significant in doing long trips. It's one of the advantages of using a Tesla. So I can literally plan all my trips from my set off point, which is Coventry, to London, to my few stops in London, then back to where I live. So just quickly punch in where I'm going. Yes, so that's the very first stop. Then I can tap on this and then add some few stops to it. So that's my second stops. That's my second stop, I mean. Then add another stop, which is my home. Yeah, so pretty much what I can do is I can literally set everything and Tesla will do everything for me. What I mean is Tesla will tell me when it is right time for me to stop, possibly the right place to stop to charge, and the amount of time that I need to spend to charge, the level of charge that I need to achieve. It's literally seamless. So let's go and enjoy the ride. So I'll be taking you through the whole journey, the stops that I'll be doing along the road. For instance, I might want to get coffee or whatever. Then I'll be stopping at Tesla Supercharger stations just to top up. Just for context, I was able to get this car charged to 100%. I charged it overnight. Although I had to increase the charge limit from 80% to 100%, it's recommended to always leave or sometimes leave the charge limit to 80% if you're just doing the normal city driving. But sometimes if you're going on a long trip, then you might want to increase the charge limit to 100%. Although it's not recommended if you're doing just city drive. But because I'll be going on a long trip, so I've decided to increase the charge limit to 80%, which means I have about 310 miles, though I drove a couple of miles this morning. But when I charged it overnight, I had about 318, and I came to do some school runs. So I have 310 miles left. So let's see where that gets me, and I'll keep you updated. So let's enjoy the ride. So in the past, there has been a lot of issues, a lot of fears about driving an electric vehicle on a long range. To be honest, those reasons why people sometimes don't want to go electric is a lot of those reasons are valid, but the technology has actually advanced to a level where most of those issues are now being addressed. One of the issues trailing the adoption of electric vehicles when it was first launched was the range anxiety, which, to be honest, it's a pretty valid reason. Range anxiety is, for instance, when you're traveling and you're wondering if the juice or the range you have left on your vehicle is enough to get through to your destination. So especially when you don't have chargers around you, or possibly you live in a remote area where there are not very many chargers or super fast chargers like we have these days, but technology has actually increased. Now, if you're driving a Tesla, you are at an advantage because Tesla, as it stands, has the most super fast chargers in the world. And with the super fast charger, the fear that people used to have about range anxiety, I've had it before. To be honest, I drove an electric vehicle at some point, and there were no chargers around me, and I was running low on battery, and I was so scared what would happen. But now those fears are vanishing, slightly vanishing, not completely though, because the technology is still advancing, but the rate of advancement or the rate of improvement these days is so tremendous. Now you can literally find chargers or super fast chargers at different locations. So, and if you're driving a Tesla, one of the advantages is you can set your location, or you can set, for instance, I'm going on a long trip now from Coventry to London, and that will take me it's about 3 hours drive. And although I have almost fully charged battery, but if I didn't have a full charged battery, the vehicle would tell me where to stop and how long to stop for to charge, possibly at a super fast charger, Tesla super fast charger. And the advantage is, if you're driving a Tesla, your vehicle, once you're about to get to possibly a place to charge your vehicle, it is going to precondition your vehicle for you so that you have maximum charging opportunity. So your charges very quickly, and because it's a super fast charger, you are able to charge your vehicle very quickly. But one thing to note is, if your vehicle is at, for instance, if your vehicle is at between 10% to like 70%, your car charges very quickly when you are at a super fast charger. But as you go above 80%, for instance, from 70%, 80%, 90%, if you want to charge your vehicle to 100%, the charging curve slows down. And it's done purposely just to preserve the battery. So if you're charging from 10% to about 70%, you have a rapid charging experience. It's like a curve. But once you get to that tip, once you get to like 70%, 75%, 80%, then the speed of charging reduces. And like I said earlier, it's deliberate. It's just an attempt to protect the battery so that the battery doesn't degrade very quickly. It's a very cool advantage, to be honest. But the whole point is, doing a long trip, now it's quite easy. I think it's also easy for other vehicles as well, because other vehicles like BMW and some other brands, they are also integrating with Tesla super fast charger, because Tesla has loads and loads of super fast charger littered everywhere. So it's quite advantage. It's of an advantage, to be honest. If you're driving an internal combustion engine, the range anxiety is not there, because once you fill up, you can always get a petrol station to fill up, and the charging or the time to fill up your vehicle is quite easy. It's quite fast. It's almost becoming the same experience driving an electric vehicle. You can charge your vehicle from, let's say, 10% to 70% in like less than 20 minutes. So it's literally the same time that you would go to a restroom, or you stop over to get coffee, or you want to relieve your leg. Possibly you've been driving for many hours. So the technology is advanced in these days that the range anxiety is no longer a problem. It's not totally solved, but the problem is not as it used to be when EV adoption started. So it's a lovely experience. I've had series of road trips in my internal combustion engine. I own a diesel car, and I've had loads and loads of long trips using the car, and this is going to be the very first time I'll be doing a long trip using an electric vehicle. So I'm quite excited of the experience, the charging experience, the super fast charging experience, and so let's enjoy the ride. So I was able to charge the vehicle overnight to 100%. My initial charge limit was set to 80%, but because I'll be going on a long trip, I decided to increase it to 100%. It's not recommended to increase to 100% if you're only doing short trips, possibly within the city. But occasionally, if you're going on a long trip, then you can charge it to 100%. So the advantage is, or the disadvantages of charging your vehicle or increasing the charge limit to 100% is, one, it stresses the battery. So it's advisable, or Tesla even recommends, that you keep your charge limit to 80% so that you have a longer performance, you have a longer battery. Overall life cycle of the battery is prolonged. So that's one of the advantages. Then the advantage is, if you've been driving electric vehicles or you know much about electric vehicles, there's something we call regenerative braking, which is once you take your leg off the accelerator, the car slows down and regenerates power back to the battery. So if your vehicle is always at 100%, if you've increased the charge limit from 80%, which is the recommended value, to 100%, the extra juice or the extra power coming into the battery has nowhere to go. So this degrades the battery, and that's the reason it's not recommended to always charge your vehicle or charge your electric vehicle to 100%. But occasionally, like I said earlier, occasionally, if you're going on a long trip, then you can charge it to 100%. There's some batteries in newer models, they call them LFP batteries. Those are pretty built to withstand 100% charging. So if you're using LFP battery, that's fine. But if you're using lithium ion, for instance, this Tesla Model 3 has lithium ion battery. But if your battery is made with LFP batteries, that's pretty fine. So I'm quite excited, like I said, with the trip. When I charged the vehicle, I had about 318 miles of range, and I had to do.
In 1 mile, keep right to take A46.
I had to do short trip, and that cost about that. I spent about I used about 7 miles, and I have. Okay, currently we are on 297 miles, and the way Tesla works is you can literally plan your entire journey. So what I did was I set the destination, where I'm going, and a couple of stops. And it will recommend where to stop, how long to stop for, and it's showing me that my very first stop, once I get there, it's about 3 hours drive from here. I'm going to be left with 45% of battery, which is pretty amazing. It's about 3 hours drive. So once I get to my first destination, I need to charge for. Once I get to my first destination, I need to charge the vehicle for only 5 minutes, which is pretty amazing. 5 minutes, I could go into the shop.
Right to take A46.
So I could go into the coffee shop, get a coffee, use the restroom, stretch my legs, walk around in 5 minutes, and my vehicle is charged, which is pretty solid. So let's enjoy the ride.
In 1,000 feet, enter the roundabout and take the 4th exit. Now enter the roundabout and take the 4th exit.
Yeah, so let's quickly talk about the experience, the driving experience of an electric vehicle compared with internal combustion engine. As you're all aware, electric vehicles obviously doesn't have any engine. It only has battery, and in conventional internal combustion engine, you have sound from the engine, for instance. But in the case of electric vehicle, obviously, you don't get any sound, you don't get any noise. But the only sound that you get is the road noise. I'm not sure if this is audible enough, but I can still hear some road noise. You have some road noise, aerodynamic noise and all. Those are pretty standard, even when you drive an internal combustion engine. But the cool thing about internal combustion engine is the sound from the engine deadens every other noise, or maybe to a reasonable extent. It reduces some noise that you get from the outside. But in the case of electric vehicles, since you don't have any internal combustion engine, the only sound or the only noise you get is just the road noise. So, and one pretty good thing about Tesla is, for the older ones, for Tesla Model 3, for instance, the one I'm driving, the front glass has double pane, which to an extent reduces the road noise. But for the newer ones, from 2024 upward, Tesla has actually done something very cool, which is they've doubled the glass at the front and at the rear, which means you have double pane glass at the front and you have double pane glass at the rear. But in the older ones, like the 2021, 2022, you only have the double pane glass at the front, which in essence reduces noise to a reasonable extent. Not eradicated totally, but it's much more better than some electric vehicles out there. So it's not 100% quiet inside, but at the same time, I think it does a reasonable good job. So it's quiet, not entirely quiet. The only sound or the only noise you hear is just the noise generated from the tires when they are in contact with the road, and also because the car is piercing through the air, you also get some aerodynamic noise as well, which is not a bad thing. So the driving experience of an electric vehicle is so serene, and if you are fortunate to have a very good sound system, that makes everything good. So if you have a good sound system, like for instance Tesla has a sound bar at the front, because of copyrights I won't be able to play any music, but the driving experience when you have a very good sound system is awesome, is amazing. It's quiet, not entirely quiet. At the same time, you have very lovely sound coming out from the sound bar, which makes the driving experience enjoyable. The driving experience is enjoyable. And also, if you've driven a couple of electric vehicles in the past, they're quite heavy, and they're heavy because it's battery. So the batteries are laid flat before the structure is built on it, so which makes the vehicle heavier than some internal combustion engine. But there's a very good thing that Tesla has done. Not only Tesla, some other electric vehicle manufacturers, they ensure that the riding experience, cornering, steering, everything is well compensated for. Because one would expect that when you drive a heavy car like a Tesla, then it is going to be so difficult to steer. Although it's not as it's not as very smooth when you're steering. It's slightly heavier, but not a big deal, to be honest. So the driving experience is awesome. I've been driving now for over 40 minutes, and I have 254 miles, 264 miles left, which is a pretty amazing one. So once I get to my first destination in London, I'll be having 40% left, 40%, 45% charge left. Now I only need to top up by 5%. Then that will take me from my first destination, which is my first stop, to my second stop in London. Then I need to charge again for about 10 minutes. Then by the time I'm back to my base, to my home in Coventry, judging by what Tesla app has given me, I'll be left with 10%, which is not a bad thing, to be honest. So I'll be taking you through the cost of charging, how much it is going to cost me to charge it, and also the time it's going to take to charge. From what Tesla is telling me, the very first charge I'll be doing is about 5 minutes using a Tesla Superfast charger. And then the second one is about 10 minutes. So I'll be letting you know the ideal time to charge and also the cost of charging. When you're using a Superfast charger, it's slightly expensive than charging at home, but the advantage is you can charge your vehicle very quickly, and that's one of the advantages of going on a long trip in a Tesla. You have super fast charger in so many locations that you can just have a stopover, plug your vehicle, go grab coffee, or you grab breakfast if you haven't had one, or you use the restroom. When you're back, about 20 minutes, your car is charged to about 80% or 70%, and that will take you for another couple of miles before you charge again. So the whole experience of using an electric vehicle on the long trip is much more better than when it started, when EV was pretty new. So let's enjoy the ride. Tesla has some really cool feature, some driving assistant feature that I would love to try out. The very first one is the full self driving. Unfortunately, the full self driving is not in Europe, or is not in UK at the moment. But I read in the news a couple of days ago that the full self driving is now in, the full self driving is coming to Europe, not in the UK at the moment, but the full self driving was launched in, I think, in 3 cities: in Italy, in France, and I think Germany. I can't remember. But a lot of people have been having the drive experience, the full self-driving experience in France. It's not a full experience. When you go for the tour, the full self-driving tour in London, the full self-driving tour in Paris, a Tesla representative has to be in the driver's seat and demonstrate the full self-driving. So it's not a full self-driving experience, but I can't wait for it to be launched in the UK. It's currently in the discussion, and one of the delays is because of regulations, safety regulations, compliance and all, which is pretty understandable. But in the US, full self-driving has been rolled out in US in so many places. So, and one of the things that I intend to do when next I visit the US is to possibly rent a Tesla that has a full self-driving capability, then experience a full self-driving feature. So I'll be making a video about that. But nonetheless, there are still some driving experience. There's some Tesla driving assistant feature that are integrated into the vehicle at the moment, It's not a full self-driving experience, and it still requires you to, for instance, be attentive. You have to be attentive. There is an inbuilt indoor in-cabin camera over here that actually ensures that you are still active, and at the same time you have to have your hand around the steering. So I'll be demonstrating one of it now. So I've made a video about it earlier. There are a couple of things that you have to activate on the screen first before you can activate it, but I've done that earlier, so I'll just be activating it now. So I will double tap this and then it takes over. So, but the only thing is I have to ensure that my hand is on the wheel. So that's one of the things that Tesla has actually mandated. So I've taken my leg off the pedal, and one thing it's doing is I've set my maximum speed to 70%, and it's literally following the vehicle. It's following the vehicle right in front of me. If the vehicle brakes, the car also brakes, and I have to keep my hand on the wheel. That's one of the things that Tesla has actually mandated. So if I take my hand off the wheel, I'll get a signal, I'll get a warning on the screen, which will prompt me to put my hand on the wheel. It's just to ensure that you are not possibly distracted. So if you can see the screen, it's keeping the vehicle in lane at the same time maintaining the speed. So it's following the vehicle in front of me to ensure if the vehicle accelerates, my vehicle also accelerates. If the vehicle in front of me slows down, this one also slows down. But one of the things is, for this to be active, you must be driving in a clearly marked road. If you see right in front of me, the roads are clearly marked, so that's the guidance for the system. If the roads are not marked, I doubt if it is going to work. So I need to put my hand on the wheel just to ensure, so that the system knows that I'm still attentive and I'm not sleeping or I'm not distracted with my phone. So it's controlling itself, keeping in lane, and keeping to the minimum and maximum speed. So it's a very cool feature, which, to be honest, it's not a full driving experience, because I'm wondering, I still have to keep my hand on the wheel, so it's not a total experience. But it's called beta. The reason it's called beta is it's still at the testing stage in the UK, because UK roads need to be mapped, a lot of things needs to be done. But in the US and some other states and some other countries like Canada, the full self-driving has been rolled out, which means I can literally take my hands off the wheel, and the vehicle will drive me from point A to point B, which is a very good one. So it's amazing. Another thing that could make the system deactivate is if the weather condition is bad. As you can see now, it's drizzling, so I won't be surprised if the system deactivates. So you need to have clear weather for you to walk. The road needs to be clearly marked. And one of the downside of this system is, this driver assistance system is, it will not drive you from point A to point B on its own. It still needs your guidance. It needs your input. For instance, it won't be able to recognize traffic stops and all. So you can see it's popping on the screen that I need to keep my hand on the wheel, which I kept my hand on the wheel, but I felt my hand is not. I need to grip the wheel, which literally defeats the whole purpose. But like I said earlier, it's still a good experience. It's a good experience, and I can't wait to have the full self-driving capability in the UK. So to activate this, like I did earlier, I just need to double tap this, and to deactivate, I just need to pop it up, and it's deactivated. So now I'm in full control of the vehicle. So that's one of the driving experience. That's one of the driver assistant feature of Tesla that are so much lovely. So I've taken ownership of the vehicle, I've taken full control of the vehicle, I'm responsible for everything now. But when the full self-driving comes into full rollout in the UK, possibly, it's currently in France, it's in Germany, and it's in Italy, but it's not fully rolled out. It's still at a testing stage, and people have been coming into Tesla shops or Tesla showrooms to have a test drive. But like I said, it's not a full test drive. A Tesla representative needs to handle the wheel. So as a passenger, you're only sitting at the passenger side. The Tesla assistant sits at the driver's side and demonstrate the whole experience. So it's not a full experience, but it's just maybe a tip or an introduction to what the full self-driving capability can do. So like I said earlier, one of the videos I'll be making possibly next year when I'm in the US is I'll be renting a Tesla that has a full self-driving capability, and it's going to take me from point A to point B. So I will appreciate if you can subscribe. I will appreciate if you can like this video. I will appreciate if you can put a comment, liking the video, put in a comment, and sharing helps me. It helps the algorithm. It helps the channel to grow. It doesn't take anything to subscribe. So I will appreciate if you can subscribe to the channel, like the video. I have tons and tons of videos to drop very soon. So kindly subscribe to the channel, kindly like the video, kindly put a comment. Have you driven a Tesla using this feature that I just demonstrated? So let me know in the comment section, and also let's enjoy the ride. So there's another cool feature that is so beneficial. For instance, when you're in a slow moving traffic like this. It's not only peculiar to Tesla, almost all vehicles have it, all modern vehicles have it, which is the cruise control. And Tesla calls the ADAS advanced cruise control, which literally means in situations like this is a slow moving traffic, and instead of pressing the accelerator, pressing the brake, so I can just activate the cruise control. So once it's activated, the vehicle will move in line with the vehicle in front of it. My Tesla will move when the vehicle in front of it moves, and when the vehicle in front of it stops, it is going to stop as well. So it's just trailing the vehicle right in front of it. The advantage of this is I can relax my leg, and instead of okay, I think at this instant let's see if we can activate it. Yeah, so one good thing is, if you can see here, Tesla is telling me that it's preconditioning my car for fast charging, which means it's planning ahead. I'll be having a stopover once I get to London, my very first stopover at a charging station, and it's preconditioning the vehicle so that the essence of preconditioning the vehicle is so you can have the maximum charging. So what I mean is, once Tesla knows your plan, for instance, where you're going, where you're stopping, it will recommend a couple of places for you to stop to have your vehicle charged. So what it does is, once it's about to get to where the vehicle is going to be charged, possibly your very first charging point, it is going to start preconditioning the battery. So it's just preparing the battery so that if it doesn't precondition the battery, if you know where you're going and you know where you're going to stop, possibly you are driving and you know the exact charging station that you're going to stop, Tesla won't have that information, so it won't precondition it. So once you impute your destination, it tells you where to stop to charge, and then it preconditions the battery before you get it, so that the battery is ready. And once you precondition the battery before you get to where you're going, the charging is faster, so you don't have to spend countless time or countless minutes just at the super fast charger. So that's one of the advantages. So I'm trying to activate the auto cruise now, but for some weird reason. Okay, so I'll give it a try again. So I've been driving. I left Coventry at around 8:30. I left Coventry at around 8:30, 8:35. And now I've driven about 2 hours, and I have 198 miles left. So when I charged it fully, it was 318 miles, and now it's about 198 miles left. So I've used about 20 miles. Yeah, it's 20, no, more than 20 miles. So I've used over 100 miles. So it's currently at 198 miles. When I charged it in the morning, it was 318, and it's currently at currently at 198 miles, which is pretty good one. So there's a super fast charging that's asking me, I'm going to be getting there. My next stop is going to be at 11:07 a.m. and I have about 1 hour 11 minutes to get to where I'm going, which is about 41 miles left. So by the time I get to the super fast charging station that Tesla has recommended, I'll be left with 45%. So I have 45% left, and I have to charge for a couple of minutes, a maximum of 10 minutes, between 5 to 10 minutes. Then that will take me to my second stop before heading back to Coventry. And so let's enjoy the slow moving traffic.
In 1,000 feet, keep right to take M25 south towards M4, M23.
I am a couple of minutes to my very first destination, which is the station where I'll be charging the vehicle. It's a Tesla Superfast Charger station, and the vehicle actually has been preconditioning before my arrival. So it's a very good thing. If you can see on the screen, preconditioning battery for fast charging. So, which is a very nice thing. Before I get there, the vehicle is ready for me to charge. If the vehicle had not preconditioned, it's going to possibly take me a longer time to charge. So I have driven for a couple of hours now, and I'm left with 154 miles after driving for over 2 hours, about close to 3 hours. So I'm left with 154 miles, and I am just 11 minutes away from the charging station, which is about 2.5 miles away. And before I get there, or by the time I get there, I'll be left with 47%, which is pretty much accurate to what Tesla navigation showed when I was leaving my destination, when I was leaving Coventry. So it showed that I'll be getting to my very first charging station with a battery percentage of 45%. So this is 47%, which is an extra 2%. And I have 11 more minutes to drive, which is 2.4 miles. So I think it's pretty nice. Lovely trip so far. And I've really enjoyed my trip. Very quiet. The sound system is so nice. A little traffic on the road. Possibly I would have gotten here earlier, but still not bad. So let's proceed to where we are going to get the vehicle charged for about 5 minutes. So once I get the vehicle charged for about 5 minutes, that would take me for a couple of miles. So I'll keep you updated. So I am currently at the super fast charging station, Tesla super fast charging station. So I'll be having a charge here. So let me pull over. Okay. This is a very nice one. There are a lot of Teslas here charging, so this is also very close to my very first stop. Let me see if we can use that. The charger seems to be in use by lots of people. Yeah, so I've been able to find a charging slot, which is a very good one. Here, so I'll charge the vehicle very quickly. Thankfully, the charger or the vehicle has been preconditioned before we got here. So that's plugged in. And charging with Tesla Superfast Charger is pretty seamless. Seamless in the sense that I don't have to do anything. When I purchased the vehicle, when I got the vehicle, I already used my card details. So the vehicle, once you plug in the Superfast Charger, it charges automatically, and I will get billed into. The bill is automatic, so I don't have to do anything. That's one of the advantages of using a Tesla and charging with a Tesla Superfast Charger. So unlike the conventional cars like the Ford and all, I have to manually tap, or you have to tap your card on the charger. But this one is seamless. So I register my card already on the Tesla app, and all I have to do is just pull up into any super fast charger, plug in the pin, and it takes care of the rest. So my card is going to be billed automatically after the charge is complete. So at the moment, you can see this is what we have. It's charging at the moment. You have enough energy to continue your trip. Okay, so this is what we have at the moment. So what it's telling me is I have to charge for like 20 minutes. You're not charged to continue trip. 20 minutes to charge limit. So let's get it charged. And at the end of the charging, I will show you what it actually costs to charge at a Tesla super fast charging station like this. So I'll run you through what it costs to charge. I have about 150 miles left, but nonetheless, I need to charge it so I have enough energy to take me through my entire journey. Not the entire journey possibly, because I still have to do a couple of stops. So currently it's charging. If I walk you through this, it's charging at the moment, and if you see, this is what we have. Okay, possibly let me close this. So you can see what it's bringing. So I have 20 minutes to charge. I have 20 minutes to charge limits, and so you can see what it's charging. The charging speed is at 101 kilowatts because obviously there are lots of cars around, there are a lot of Teslas around that are equally charging. So if I walk you through this, non-Teslas are also charging their vehicle. So this is a very nice stuff. I think this is just the time for me to use the restroom, possibly get a coffee or get something. So this is what I have. Charge duration 3 minutes, and that's 53%. So this is what it feels like to charge at a Tesla super fast charging station. It's pretty seamless. It's very seamless. I don't have to do anything. All I have to do is pull up at a super fast charging station, plug in the cable, and everything is taken care of. So I don't have to worry about the charging or tapping my card. Everything is undone automatically since I already have my card on the Tesla app. So the level of charging here, whatever I charge with, whatever the charging speed is, or whatever juice I'm able to put into the car, automatically gets deducted from my account. So it's similar. So thank you. So I have left the Tesla super fast charging station, and it only took 5 minutes to charge. As at the time I got there, I had only 160 or about 150 miles.
500 feet, enter the roundabout and take the second exit.
So by the time I got to the Tesla super fast charging station, I had about 150 miles of range left. And after the super fast charging, after the charge at the super fast charging station, the miles was 253, which is pretty nice. That was a very fast charging. And the total cost was about £9. 9 point something, let's just say £9. So that's about $7 if you live in the US, but in the UK that's about £9, which is very lovely. This is very nice. So I've left my first stop, now going to the second one. The very first one was actually the Tesla super fast charging station, and now I drove a couple of miles to where I was going, which was a very should I say the second stop, and now another stop within London. I'll be there for a couple of minutes or about an hour before heading back home to Coventry. So let's see what the range is going to be by the time I get to my third destination, and also what the range is going to be left when I'm finally back home. If I'm following what Tesla said or what the app showed, it showed that I'll be getting back to my destination, my final destination, with about 10% left, which is pretty nice. So if I get to my destination with 10% left, I can easily use my own charger to charge it overnight to 80% again. But overall, the charging experience was very smooth because it's a Tesla Superfast charger. And the good thing is a lot of non-Tesla cars were also there. I saw a Range Rover, I saw Mercedes-Benz. They were also using the Tesla Superfast charging network, which is a very good one. So let's enjoy the ride to my third destination. So I'm about 14 minutes left to get into my next destination. And at the moment I have 233 miles left on the car. So I have 233 miles left on the car. So in the next 14 minutes, we will be getting to my next destination. I'll be there for a couple of minutes or up to 1 hour, then head back home. So the driving experience has been awesome. Driving in the streets of London, the North Circular Road, it's pretty amazing. And one good thing is a larger percentage of the areas in London is ULEZ zone, which is ultra low emission zone. So if you're driving an electric vehicle, it's zero at the moment, zero tax at the moment. But when I used to come to London with my diesel car, I paid £12 every single day. And I think the whole idea is just to discourage people from driving diesel cars. So if you drive a diesel car or petrol car beyond a certain year, you are meant to be paying £12 every single day. Not all areas in London anyway, but some core areas like central London and all. So if you're driving your internal combustion engine below a certain year, you are meant to be paying £12 every single day, which is economically, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense economically. So that's one good thing. If you drive an electric vehicle.
Now turn right onto Lister Gardens.
Now finally arriving at my second destination. So let's go and make a U-turn.
Now your destination is on the right.
Yes, I'm finally at my second destination. That took me about an hour 30 minutes to get here from my very first destination to this very one. And I have about 230 miles left. So my last destination is going to be driving back home, and which is going to take me about 2 hours 30 minutes. So that's roughly about 97 miles. And based on the calculation that I have here, or based on the figure that I have on the screen, I'll be getting to my destination, my final destination, with 38% left, which is pretty nice. So I'll keep you updated. Yeah, so after a long trip in London, I'm heading back home, and with what I have left, I have 220 miles of range left, and the entire journey back home is going to take me about 1 hour 40 minutes, approximately 2 hours. So with what I am seeing here, by the time I'm back home, I will be left with 37% of charge, which is pretty amazing, to be honest. So I've done a lot of trips. I have had a couple of stopover from my starting point to London, to 2 stops in London, and now finally heading back home. So it's been an amazing journey, and I'll keep you updated as I proceed. So at the moment I have 219 miles of range left. So by the time I'm home in the next 2 hours approximately, I should be getting home with 37% state of charge, which is not too bad, to be honest. Because even if you're driving an internal combustion engine, I would have stopped at the gas station about 1 time or twice. But using using the Tesla fast charging network, I only stopped once, and I charged the vehicle for only 5 minutes, and I got over 100 miles of range added to the battery, which is pretty nice. So I'll keep you updated as I go, and we'll actually see by the time I'm home if the value showing on my screen is what the actual value is going to be. But while I was coming from home this morning, the predicted state of charge by the time I'll be stopping at my first charging station was pretty accurate, because it showed that I'll be getting to the first Tesla charging station with a state of charge of 45%, but I got there with 47%, which is 2% much more than the Tesla app actually predicted, which is pretty nice. So heading back home, let's see if the same thing applies. It's telling me at the moment that I'll be getting home with 37% state of charge. So once I'm home, I'll confirm if this is correct, if this is true. But overall, it's been an amazing experience. So I'll keep you updated. Yes, so I am finally home after a long trip today. To be honest, it was an amazing trip, and I got home with 160 miles left, which is a pretty nice one. So a very quick summary of how the day went. I had my car fully charged before I left the house, and it was basically, I had to push the charge limit to 100% so I can have enough juice for the entire trip. And I had a lot of stops, a couple of stops on the road. My very first stop was at the Tesla Supercharger, which I added some miles, about over 100 miles in 5 minutes, which was pretty impressive. One cool thing was that the vehicle was able to precondition before I got there, so which means the battery was ready for charge before I even got to the charging station. So that's a very cool thing. And I had my second stop, my third stop in London, and pretty much it was a very long trip, and I have 160 miles left, so I will be charging it overnight up to 100% again. But at this time I've actually brought back the charge limit to 80%, since I'll be doing more of an internal driving, city driving. But the whole idea is, if you're going on a long trip, you could push the charge limit to 100%, but it's not something that is recommended all the time, except you have a Tesla that has a LFP battery. But in my own case, this battery is made with lithium. It's a lithium-ion battery, so it's not recommended to always charge to 100%. So that's pretty much it. I will appreciate if you can subscribe, or if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed the whole trip from my home to London and back, if you really appreciate this, or if you enjoy the content so far, I will appreciate if you can like the video, if you can subscribe, if you can put a comment, and most importantly, I will appreciate if you can subscribe. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.